2018. Okay, move on. I, utility materials and water pipe purchases. All right, moving on. Fleet maintenance, cumulative purchases. We're buying El Dorado National Kansas. Is that a whole city we're buying, or just product?
Just the vendor.
Just the vendor. We're buying the vendor too?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Buses.
Just product. Anything else on J?
No.
All right. For the council, is there any item on the consent agenda that anyone wants removed?
I would like D and G removed, please.
Which ones?
D as in dog and G as in golf.
Okay. Okay, we'll remove those two. All right, move on to 10A. This is the approval of the updated Human Services Board bylaws. Any comments or questions, Shannon?
So I just had a question about in the section 5, paragraph 5.4, where it talks about attendance and if a member doesn't attend frequently, that they can be asked to resign from the board. And I guess I just wondered, in light of our municipal code, is that authority consistent with provisions for removal of a board member in our municipal code? So do we have provisions already in our code that address this? And if so, is this permissible for members of a board to ask for removal of members?
I can explain why they put that in there.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I'm certain that's okay, why they did. I understand that, for sure. I was just wondering.
Is it consistent with the application to other boards?
Well, and then do we have anything in our code that would conflict with that or even give the board authority to do that, to remove their own members?
Well, the board can't remove a member. The council can.
Well, it just says that they're asking people to resign.
Michelle, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Maybe asked to resign.
So they say at the beginning of their bylaws that nothing in the bylaws will supersede, obviously, city code. And then within city code, it doesn't specifically speak to the removal of members. It speaks to defining what excused and unexcused absences are, but it says nothing about like a threshold of unexcused absences equals something. There's nothing about repercussions that I'm familiar with in the code. And so they did think that for their board's purposes, especially since they meet really specific times to review grants, that lack of consistent presence could be a barrier to them doing their job.
Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I
So
guess
that
I
was
was
their
just
thinking.
making sure that that didn't conflict with how our code already addressed
Yeah.
this issue, if at all. Maybe we can wait
I
out
will
there.
confirm that.
Okay,
for you.
that was
Let
my
me
only
confirm
question
that
there,
for you.
honestly, so.
Any other questions on that then?
Yeah.
Shannon, was that the only one you had?
Yeah, that was the only one.
Okay.
I know you didn't ask why, but I do just want to say, I think there's such a sense of fiduciary responsibility when we're handing out the taxpayers' money to these nonprofits. We want to make sure everyone who's weighing in is as fully informed as to how they're making the allocations, right? Like,
Right, I'm not questioning that,
I know,
actually.
and
I mean,
said-
I already understand that, yeah.
No, but for everyone listening, like, in general, I think, since there's been so many changes with boards and commissions, I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Okay, let's try to move on. We're running out of time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right,
And our
on
board
item
chair will be here tonight.
okay, on 11A, as we discussed there, is that is going to be removed from the agenda. Moving over to the WIDA board meeting, the only thing that will be handled on the WIDA board meeting is the acceptance of the minutes. And the other item has also been removed. And we have one executive session following the WIDA board meeting, and that is the review of the performance appraisal of the municipal judge.
Can I ask a question about the informational only item? Is there somebody here who can talk about that one, the CDBG and the Brad Byrne?
Yes.
I had a resident just email me a question that says, the agenda says the stated goal of the project was to eliminate an unsafe intersection through street realignment. Has that unsafe intersection been remedied? Is it still deemed unsafe? Do we feel comfortable in transferring these monies when our stated purpose of it was to fix an unsafe intersection?
That might actually be a better question that might be a better question for Dave Downing,
Oh,
who
sure.
worked with us on the memo.
regarding the cancellation of the project,
Right.
but I'm,
If you want to send it out through email, that'd be great, and we can just, because it
that's
isn't.
not an aspect that we
Okay,
evaluated.
sure, yeah, no, just somebody asked, sent that in.
Maybe you want to.
Okay, guys and gals, you got about 5 minutes and we'll start. Please be at the dais on time.
It was, you wanted to call?
Yeah,
You said it was.
well, it's a scary thing.
It wasn't even scary that I did it, but I got it.
Might as well stop here. Let's see. Oh, okay. so it's
Code, but
that
just,
must-
yeah, just so you know, she did do a review. So I was looped in on that email trail, so. Just an FYI.
Thank you. I mean to make waves.
So, Maria, thank you for sharing that. Are we gonna have David or somebody send a formal response to explain the difference? I think we should.
Okay.
Don't you?
Who knew this was coming?
Did you forward it to David too?
Yeah, he's seen it.
Okay.
So we can just leave our stuff here, I guess. Thank you. Yeah, this is.
You resend it again, Maria?
Good evening, everyone. At this time, we remind you there are American flags in the rear of the room and the front of the room. If you would please now join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Trying to hide out.
So I have the incredible honor of being the council liaison to Westminster's Youth Advisory Panel. It is a panel comprised of students who either attend school in one of our Westminster schools, they live in Westminster, and attend one of the schools in the surrounding communities. And for the past 4 years, I've had the privilege of being the liaison to the Youth Advisory. I can tell liaison for so long, and she has seen this group grow into what you see up here, which is representatives of all of our local schools from so many different areas. So Cindy does an amazing job. Jola Duke is also a member and our staff liaison to it, does a great job, goes been on the field trips with us, goes and does so much of it. And Kinsey Vieira from Jefferson Academy High School.
Sandy Bangs should be on there. Sandy Bang from Westminster.
And Sandy Vang from Westminster High School.
Hey, Sandy, how are you?
So we could give one more round of applause. And now the incredibly tricky part, we have to find a way to all get in the picture.
So, let me add one quick thing to what Alberto said. A portion of this group went down and met with an international group earlier this year, along with myself and several members. That we do an exchange through the Denver Regional Council of Governments. We brought a group from Iraq, and they got to spend part of the day. And it was not only did they get see part of the day, but they also got to see the sun get blocked out. It happened to be the same day of the eclipse. They were downtown. They got to meet with the group. They got to go out and watch the eclipse, have lunch. The exposure that these guys get to what goes on in government and what they're doing for our community, as Alberto's already talked about, it's insurmountable, the amount of opportunity and the things that they get to do. We hope to get them more international exposure to groups of their, not only their own age, but some younger than them. So it's been great for them to have that opportunity, and we could not do, as with our other boards and commissions, could not do what we do without groups like this. This is extremely important because, as Alberto said, these are students, and yet they find a huge amount of time to give to our community every year. I really appreciate what they do and the leadership that the new chair has and keeping them all corralled. That's mostly Cindy's job.
I'll let you hold the proclamation. You go.
Where are you going to do this?
I don't know. I think we're going to go back.
Ladies,
I think I'll need folks to scoot in.
We're gonna switch balls.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Tall ones go in the back.
I can get folks down in the front too, if you want to do it that way.
Michaela, you gotta get in front of the proclamation.
I'm in.
Okay, I still need you slightly closer. I don't want to be too far back. Oh, perfect. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Great, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
I have the privilege of making the Red Ribbon Week proclamation. And I think we have 2 representatives of the Red Ribbon group here tonight. If you'd like to, 3, fantastic. If you'll join me up here, please. So I am going to just give you a little bit of background for Red Ribbon Week, and I'll let you hold this. So Red Ribbon Week emerged from the creation of Camarena clubs, which were established in 1985 to honor the memory of drug enforcement agent Enrique Kiki Camarena, who was killed in the line of duty. By wearing red ribbons, Americans demonstrate their ardent support of a healthy, drug-free lifestyle and pay homage to all men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice in support of our nation's struggle against drug trafficking and abuse. Each year, activities increase throughout the month of October, and this is the first year that Westminster will be joining in proclaiming October to be Red Ribbon Month. Through its participation, the City of Westminster joins thousands of other municipalities in Colorado and the United States to present a unified and visible commitment to create a drug-free America. Is there anything you'd like to say about your group?
The only thing I would say is this is not the first year Westminster has done it.
I know,
It's about the 30th year.
That we've done this.
About 30 years.
Oh, well, I don't know why
And so
that's in there.
we've been around since 1981. And so we got in on the very first, 1985, when the National Congress actually set up the week.
Oh, wow.
And so we've done actually Red Ribbon Month in Westminster now for 3 years.
Fantastic.
We work very close with all the schools and all those students that you had here. We have contact with their buildings, work to support their decision to stay drug-free.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for your work. That's even better than what I had to say in the background. So thank you for that. And then I'll read our proclamation here. So whereas alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use by our youth is a threat to the future of our nation, and whereas it is imperative that a united and visible commitment of prevention efforts by community members be continued to reduce the demand for illegal drugs and illegal use of legal drugs, and whereas the National Family Partnership and the Westminster Area Community Awareness Action Team, CAAT, are sponsoring the national, statewide, and local Red Ribbon campaign, offering citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment toward helping children stay drug-free as they grow up. And whereas this year's national theme, "Your Future is Key, so Stay Drug-Free," will headline celebrations in communities across the nation during Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through October 31st, 2017. And whereas Westminster area schools, students, and faculty, businesses, government, law enforcement, religious institutions, service organizations, youth, health providers, senior citizens, sport teams, and individuals will demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during the campaign. And whereas the City of Westminster is committed to assisting with the success of the Red Ribbon campaign, now therefore I, Herb Atchison, Mayor of the City of Westminster, Colorado, on behalf of the entire City Council and staff, do hereby proclaim October to be Red Ribbon Month, and October 23rd through October 31st, 2017 to be Red Ribbon Week in the City of Westminster, and encourage our citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free community. Great proclamation. Yes, thank you.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Thank you so much.
Okay. We have the opportunity to celebrate a number of things this evening, and I have the privilege of the proclamation regarding planning. So I don't know if the entire planning department, who's going to come celebrate planning with me? All right.
Dave? You can join them.
Karen?
Okay. They wrote up talking points for me as well, but I'll just candidly say that having such excellent planners in our city really makes all the difference. They help us think about so many factors that make our city great, whether it's our walkability, the safety of our roads, where our parks are, where our trails are, how big our buildings are, and so many details that make our city vibrant and welcoming. And I'm really grateful for our really top-notch planning staff. And we've won a number of awards, whether it's Dr. Cog Gold Awards or other municipal level awards for the work that this city has done in excellence in planning. So I'm really happy we get to celebrate. So we get to read the proclamation. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation, and whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories. And whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, endorses National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions sound planning and plan implementation to make the quality of our settlements and environment. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time, their expertise to the improvement of the city of Westminster. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community and planners of the City of Westminster and extend our heartfelt thanks to the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Herb Atchison of the City of Westminster, Colorado, on behalf of the entire City Council and in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Community Planning Month. Congratulations. So thank you so much. So I'm going to pass this off, but do you guys have, Andrew? Yes. Do you have anything that you would like to add about planning and its impact on the city?
I guess I would just say that good planning is really a collaborative effort, and it depends a lot on our staff working with the community, but also really with our counterparts in Public Works, Parks and Rec, Fire, all the other departments that we work with. Everyday economic development. It really takes teams to make great plans, and of course the leadership of City Council. That's wonderful. And then, so I know you also, I sort of skipped a step. Would you mind introducing yourself so that everyone can see who we've got up here?
Amy Johnson, Senior Planner.
Andrew Spurgeon, Principal Planner.
Dave Losman, Development Manager.
John McConnell, Principal Planner.
Erin Gay, Planning Aide.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, are we close enough?
Close together.
Be friends.
No. Share the love. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you.
So I have the pleasure of proclaiming October as Fire Prevention Month. So can I have Bob Hose and Sherry Lika? So annually, the President of the United States proclaims a week in October as Fire Prevention Week. This designation always occurs during the week that includes October 9th, as that's the anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire. The National Fire Protection Agency designates the theme for National Fire Prevention Week every year, and the theme for 2017 is Every Second Counts, Plan 2 Ways Out. The theme reminds people to have an escape plan in case of fire. Fire prevention is something the City of Westminster takes incredibly seriously. I know that our fire department is amazing at public outreach, and I'm going to let them talk a little bit more about the different programs that they have. But I'll just say we were one of the first and still one of the strongest building codes requiring that single-family housing have sprinklers, fire sprinklers, for public safety and added, I guess, prevention.
Would you like to go into what you're doing?
Yeah, so this year, again, is Every Second Counts, Plan 2 Ways Out. It's really important to make sure you and your families have an exit plan. In the schools, we go out and do inspections, and they're required to do it monthly, but so many families do not have them in their own home. So plan and practice EDIT, exit drills in the home. I will leave some of these back there. And also, we have 23 elementary schools, and the fire department is in every single third grade classroom, and we have a program, and it's called, this year it's a game. I create a game every year, and the game is called The Match with Westminster Fire Department. So we're actually gonna have a game, a sequencing game on EDIT, exit drills in the home. And we just had our Station 6 open house last Saturday, and even though we had some crummy weather, we had a great turnout at our open house, and our next open house is at Station 4, and it's on October 7th. So hopefully we can see some faces out there. It's an awesome open house. You actually get to ride on one of our fire trucks. We'll have all the apparatus out there. Fight for Life will land, and we'll have hamburgers and hot dogs.
So it's a family favorite for my family. She has such a big impact that my daughter actually wants to be a firefighter now or a police officer. It's a toss-up, and she has a backup plan of city councilor. Would you like to say anything, Bob? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas in 2016, the United States had 3,390 civilian fire fatalities, 14,660 civilian injuries, and over $10.4 billion in property loss due to structure fires. And whereas in 2016, the City of Westminster Fire Department responded to 10,699 emergency alarms, including 34 building fires, and the city had 1,185,575 in building and content loss due to structure fires. And whereas in 2016, the city of Westminster had 1 citizen who died from fire, as well as 3 citizens injured from fire. And whereas fire prevention should be of concern to every Westminster citizen, and whereas the City of Westminster Fire Department depends on joint commitment and effort involving all citizens as well as firefighters to promote fire safety, and whereas the Westminster Fire Department has established a public education program that works to educate citizens on the hazards of fire and life safety, and whereas the National 2017 Fire Prevention Week theme, Every Second Counts, Plan 2 Ways Out, effectively serves to remind us all of the simple actions we can take to stay safe from fire during Fire Prevention Month and year-round. Now, therefore, I, Herb Atchison, Mayor of the City of Westminster, Colorado, on behalf of the entire City Council and staff, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Fire Prevention Month in the City of Westminster, and urge all citizens to heed the important safety messages of Fire Prevention Month 2017 and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the City of Westminster's Fire Department. It's a mouthful. All right.
1, 2, 3, smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you.
Thank you for all your efforts. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
You want to take a picture?
I would like to ask Brianna to please join me here at the front.
Oh, you do. The rest of the caucus come on?
Yes. And everybody else? Do you want to come to this side? Sure. Great. So I have the honor of presenting a proclamation opposing conversion therapy. Brianna, do you want to introduce the friends that are here with you and tell me a little bit about what you're doing?
My name is Brianna Tatone. This is B. Holmgren, Grizz Deal, and Alicia Hassebrook. And we were the Jefferson County LGBTQ plus caucus. And we're just here to get this proclamation going and get some momentum going
for the whole entire state for opposing conversion therapy.
Great, so what I'm gonna do first before I read the proclamation is I'm gonna read you a little bit about what we're doing here today. So conversion therapy is a harmful practice, especially for young people. Over the years, many professional organizations have stated this fact formally. The American Psychological Association, American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, American School Counselor Association, and other professional organizations concluded that sexual orientation and gender identity change efforts can pose critical health risk to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, or better known as LGBTQ people. Despite the overwhelming evidence that this is a destructive practice, it is still being administered often by licensed professionals. In 2001, United States Surgeon General David Satcher issued a report stating that there is no evidence conversion therapy is effective. In 2007, the American Psychological Association convened a task force that concluded LGBTQ people subjected to conversion therapy are 8 times more likely to attempt suicide, nearly 6 times as likely to report depression, 3 times as likely to use illegal drugs, and more than 3 times as likely to be at risk for HIV and sexually transmitted infections. Starting in 2013, other states and municipalities in our nation began passing laws banning conversion therapy. This year, we also saw conversion therapy make national news as a bill banning the practice proposed at the federal level. By raising awareness on the municipal level, future abuses may be prevented. By recognizing that the harmful abuse of conversion therapy promotes a healthy and inclusive community where LGBTQ people are welcome and engaged. And this supports the strategic plans of the city to be a vibrant, inclusive, and engaged community. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna read the proclamation. Okay. Whereas all people are entitled to their own identity and to be welcomed as they are. And whereas the American Psychological Association, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, the American School Counselor Association, and other professional organizations concluded that sexual orientation and gender identity change efforts can pose critical health risks to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people, including depression, suicide, substance abuse, self-hatred, and a feeling of being dehumanized. And whereas the City of Westminster acknowledges that conversion therapy to change one's sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression is a harmful abuse to those subjected to those practices. And whereas the City of Westminster knows that being lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, and or queer, it is not a disease, disorder, deficiency, or shortcoming. In fact, being part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer LGBTQ community is a diversity to be celebrated and one of many cultural groups within our community. And whereas we as a community can prevent future abuses from conversion therapy by raising awareness of this issue. Now, therefore, I, Herb Atchison, Mayor of the City of Westminster, on behalf of the City Council and staff, do hereby proclaim the City of Westminster to be opposed to conversion therapy. And I just want to say in closing, no young person or adult, for that matter, should ever be shamed by a mental health professional into believing that who they are is wrong. Actually, mental professionals should be ethical, professional, and affirm people for who they are. And here at the City of Westminster, we not only value, appreciate, but we know that because we have you in our community, we are stronger. And we like you just the way you are. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next item on our agenda is citizen communication. This is a period of up to 5 minutes that we allow anyone to come to the microphone. That 5-minute period is yours to talk about any item, except on the cases where we have a public hearing scheduled, and we have none tonight. So the way the process goes, I have 2 people I have signed up that I'll start with. We ask you to come to the microphone here at the podium. As soon as you tell us your name and your address, the little green light will come on. That means your 5 minutes has started. When you have 1 minute left, the little yellow light will come on just to kind of give you a warning. You're about to run out of time. And then when your time is up, the red one will come on, and we ask you to stop at that time. So the first person I have is B. Holmgren.
I'm B. Holmgren. My address is 636 Kendrick Street in Golden. And I just wanted to thank you so much for your proclamation regarding conversion therapy. This is an issue that has been plaguing the LGBTQ community for a long time, and we see so many places across the country taking action for the LGBTQ community's safety and mental health and just general well-being. And it's really just so meaningful that the city of Westminster is part of supporting that community. So thank you.
Next person up is Erica Salerno. Salerno, okay. And I've got your address up here if you need to.
Okay. My name is Erica Salerno. My address is 5374 West Canyon Trail, and I'm from Littleton, Colorado, 80128. I'm here on behalf of all of those who have been through conversion therapy. I want to thank you, Mayor, and all of the city councilors, and also the deputy city and the city manager. Thank you all for this wonderful proclamation. This has been 40 years in the making for me, because I was a victim of conversion therapy. So forgive me for my emotional. It's hard to speak about this because I was one of those people who had fought this. I had conversion therapy at 5 years old, 7 years old, and 17 years old, and also again at 27, because I was taught by my church how wrong it was to be who I was. Even at 5 years old, I knew what I was and who I loved, and they wanted to change me. Back then, it wasn't conversion therapy; it was called behavior modification therapy, and they used aversion therapy, which is coercion and negative feedback. So we were punished until we answered the questions correctly. And this was not done through city or through professional counselors. It was done through our church and counselors who had psychological degrees, but they were not part of the psychological system that had taken it off of the books as being a disorder. So those of us in churches are the most vulnerable and the ones who you never get to hear about, because the church is a family and they keep it within their family. And even our own families aren't even aware of what I had been through, or those of us who have been through it through all these years. And now I hear it's even worse. They use shock therapy and other methods of negative feedback, which is so bad that I got to tell you that when I was 17 years old, when I reverted back to homosexuality, I did not want people to find out. And so I had tried to commit suicide because that seemed to be the best solution at the time, but luckily I did not succeed. So, and again, at the age of 27, when I had gotten married to a man because I had spent my entire life trying to be what everybody wanted me to be, I again had to go through that and go through counseling. It took 10 years of counseling to help me accept who I was and that there's nothing wrong with me. And forgive me.
It's okay, take your time.
And just speaking on it is difficult because of how many years I've been through and just learning how to be able to express who I am and all of my beliefs and feelings, and even just to learn how to be affectionate towards people, learning how to hug people, because when I was young, they confused me so much that I couldn't even show emotion towards my family or towards anybody because they told me it was wrong to show it towards the same sex, things like that. So you're saving lives with this ban on conversion therapy, and I hope that someday our state will also do it as well. It was knocked down again this year in the legislation, and we've been trying for over 3 years, actually for many years, but 3 years that we've been trying to make progress. So you all have made history here for all of us today, and I can tell you there's so many of us out there who are silent, who are cheering for this moment right now, and once they hear it in the paper, and I hope that this is the spark that we need to help save all of the others, because I don't want any other children to go through what I went through and to have to spend an entire life trying to make up for it. So thank you very much for everything, and thank you to the LGBTQ plus caucus of Jefferson County and all of their officers that made this moment possible. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and for all of us who aren't here. Thank you very much.
All right, that's the only 2 people I had that had signed up. Is there anybody that did not sign up that still wishes to have an opportunity here at Citizen Communication? Yes, ma'am, come on. One of the 2 of you, doesn't matter which one. Just tell me who you are.
Yeah, my name's Brianna Tatone, and I live at 6232 Kilmer Loop in Arvada. I just wanted to address the city council and the mayor to say thank you so much for this, creating history today. And we're really trying to build some momentum up for the state level, because it's been killed every time at the state level and the Senate, and it's just, there's really no reason for this. People are being abused, and we need to put an end to this. And, you know, what you're doing here today is a major step in Colorado to get us closer to that goal. So I'm really hoping that more cities will follow your lead, and we can get some more momentum going for the state level and get this bill passed. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. My name's Liz Mueller. I live in Denver. The zip code is 80210. I volunteer with One Colorado a lot. I go and testify on Cap Hill and share my story. I'm not sharing that story tonight. I just want to thank you. You're really helping make my volunteer work so much easier. And I will keep fighting and not being afraid to say stuff, and it will get passed, don't worry. I luckily never had to deal with conversion therapy. I just graduated from DU with a second master's degree. This one's in social work. And I do want to just give a shout out without saying their name that I came for him tonight, because he went through it and he finally had the guts to say it to Paul Rosenthal in Rosenthal's office during a lobby day year before this one. I couldn't go. I had to go to class for LGBTQ lobby day this year. But I'm here for him. And I'm also here for my cousin who's starting to transition, and I love them both. And yep, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, do you have anyone else? Yes, ma'am, come on down.
My name is Elizabeth Bierman, and it's the same theme, except I'm a Westminster resident. I didn't know any of this was going on until I got an email tonight, and I have lived here for 12 years, and I love Westminster. I brag on it all the time, Open Space Awards. My sisters live in Tennessee, and I'm always talking about how wonderful it is. I've done the Citizens Police Academy, and I brag about how amazing our police department is and our fire department is, and I'm always talking about it. And I, as an LGBTQ community member, have never been more proud than tonight. And so as an actual Westminster resident, I really want to say thank you for those residents who maybe didn't know what was going on and aren't here. So thank you so very, very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Christine DeShazer. I've lived in Westminster for 29 of my 31 years. And I just wanted to say I just graduated with my social work degree as well. And I just really appreciate this proclamation. I'm not LGBTQ myself, but I have several friends who are. And as a social worker, I very much support that this council looks at the science and says, this is not supported, this is not something that is healthy. And I would also just like to congratulate everyone on the council because that is not the case here. We are actually, you know, putting on the books official proclamations that say you are welcome here. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, any other comments from the public before we move on? Yes, ma'am.
Catherine Scully, 11854 Chase Court, Westminster, Colorado, 80020. And I just want to thank this council. I'm a family and a friend of LGBTQ. It's difficult. This community fights a lot and they hide a lot, but they have a lot to be proud of. And I am very proud also to be related to the community and that I get to bring forth their fight. So thank you for making me proud as a citizen of Westminster. Thank you.
Okay, does you have something for us tonight?
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Leave you in charge more often. Next up is City Council comments. Mr. Canberra.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to thank everybody for being here today and for bringing this issue up before council. I also wanted to make a clarification with the excitement of reading, and it's a long proclamation. I forgot to read the last couple of lines as they should have. Brianna, would you mind giving it back to me for a second?
No, it just says. Okay, yeah, it didn't. You read it correctly.
Oh, okay, I apologize. It was just before the council meeting. One of our council members wanted to make sure that we were specific in saying that it was not all council, that it was the majority of council that supported the proclamation. Thank you very much.
Is that it? Mr. Garcia.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and sharing your incredibly personal stories. I only have 3 council meetings left. And the fact that we could take this step, that we could show that we truly are an inclusive community just makes me so incredibly proud and incredibly just proud to be a part of this organization. I mean, as I was doing my research on, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I didn't. And Brianna came and she came to one of the meetings and asked if we would consider it. And I was doing some research and you just find out how absolutely abhorrent this is. Absolutely abhorrent it is. And here at the local, at the municipal level, that we can take a small step, that we can take a step and show that, hey, here in Westminster, that's not going to happen. This is not where that should be allowed. That we can't allow one more person, one more children, one more adult to be targeted and hurt by these dangerous and discredited practices. And I am incredibly happy that I could be a part of this council who passed that proclamation and saying that this is not going to be allowed in Westminster. And I mean, this was just such a moving testimony. And I just have to say on a personal note to Erica Salerno, I've had the incredible privilege to know you through different community events. And to hear you come and say that it took you a long time to realize that there was nothing wrong with me, I got to tell you, you're one of the most amazing people I've ever met. And I appreciate you coming and talking, and I appreciate
who brought forth this proclamation to us. I feel privileged that you've given us this opportunity to stand with you and use our position as elected officials. I wanted to also commend you for your courage. It's a big deal. I know that this issue, anybody paying attention to this in the media, sees regularly what what you have to face. And I want you to know you have my support, and I'm amazed at your courage. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you're doing. And yeah, thanks for everything you're doing for your community, for all of our community. You make us better.